Okay, so we will start. We might not wait for everybody to join us. We will record this meeting and then we give them later. So today we want to start with a bar graph. So that's where we are starting today, bar graph. Then we will be able to join with, we'll be able to do a line graph or travel graph. Then we do pie chart on Friday. So tomorrow we are doing line graph and travel graph, but on Friday we are doing circle graph, or sometimes we call it pie chart. So if somebody can just describe what a bar graph is. What is a bar graph? Somebody to tell us what a bar graph is? Olivia, what is a bar graph? Olivia?
I can hear me.
Yes.
A bar graph is a graph that I don't know if I could draw, but I don't know how to explain.
Okay, so it's a graph that are placed in bars. They are in a form of bars, eh? And before we go to the graph, there is something that I want to talk about, which is very, very, very important. So I want you to listen to it. That before you do a graph, so can you say before I do a graph? Can you say before I do a graph?
Before I do a graph.
There are three main things that you need to know. So there are three main things that you need to know. So the first thing that you need to know is, in a graph, are you seeing now the graphs that I have on my screen?
Yes.
Are you seeing the graphs that I have on my screen, eh? Now this, in a graph, there is what we call the scale. What we call the scale. So right, scale in a graph, we have vertical scale and horizontal scale. Vertical scale and horizontal scale. Now the scale is always written as 1 centimeter represent something. So we can say on the scale is written as 1 centimeters. Let me increase the font. 1 centimeter represents something, or either on the vertical or horizontal. So scale is written as 1 centimeter represent something. So let's get a graph. Let's get just a graph. Then we look at what we are talking about here. So if I have a graph, let me pick one. I pick not bar graph, but let me just pick a, I can pick bar graph. So if you see a graph like this, okay, a graph like this one. Are you seeing the graph that is on my screen? On question 8?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you see now it is days. Horizontal, they are days, and then vertical, they are numbers of eggs sold. So horizontal, how do I get the scale for the vertical? How do I get the scale for horizontal? So you just check from 50 to 60. So you see now 50 to 60. One box in a graph is 1 centimeter. So you write 50 to 60. So can somebody write for me the scale of vertical scale? Somebody to write for me vertical scale. Vertical scale in that graph that we have there. Vertical scale. We're seeing vertical scale where we have the eggs. Who can write? Nobody can write. The vertical scale. The vertical scale. Let me admit these ones. Vertical scale. We have eggs in the vertical scale. So how do I write the scale? So let me write that. You see, from 50 to 10, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90. So I will be able to write vertical scale 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter represent 10 eggs. That is on vertical scale.
Child,
1 centimeter represents 10 eggs. Eh?
Child, I've written that in the chat.
Melissa, oh, you have written that one in the chat. I did not see. Thank you very much for that. So 1 centimeter represent 10 eggs on the vertical axis. Melissa, can you now tell us on the horizontal axis? Horizontal axis. Horizontal axis. Horizontal axis.
1 centimeter.
Horizontal axis, Melissa.
1 centimeter is equals
1
to
centimeter. 1 centimeter represent 1 day. 1 centimeter represent 1 day. So that's how we write the scale. Unaangalia box moja. That box is what we call 1 centimeter. So it represents 1 day. The same, so somebody to give us the scale here in this. Can we get the scale for this diagram here? The scale for this one. We want to write the scale or both horizontal and vertical scale for this. Faster. Nani anataka kuandika? Horizontal scale. We are still talking about scale. 1 centimeter represent how many kilogram, and 1 centimeter represent how many days? Please, very fast. Somebody to pick that. Nobody want to pick?
Oh,
Melissa?
1 centimeter. Show the horizontal one. 1 centimeter represents
The horizontal one.
1 centimeter represents 1 day, and the other one, 1 centimeter represents 5 kgs.
Very good. So you see now, from 0 to 10, we are covering 2 boxes. 0 to 10, we are covering 2 boxes. And remember, we are talking about 1 centimeter is the big box. So, meaning between 0 and 10, there is 5 here. So 1 centimeter will represent 5 kilograms. Thank you very much, Melissa, for understanding how to write the scale. Anybody who has not understood how to write the scale, before we go to something else, how do we write the scale? Tanya, can I give you another one you do?
Yes.
Tanya?
Yes.
Give me the scale there. Give me the scale there. The scale in that question. What is the scale?
1 centimeter.
What is the scale?
1 centimeter is equals represents 10 pupils.
10 pupils on the vertical axis, and then horizontal?
1 centimeter. 1 class.
1 centimeter represent? Eh?
1 class.
1 centimeter represent 1 class. Yeah, it's okay. 1 centimeter represent 1 class. So that's how we get the scale. Anybody who has not understood how to get the scale first, because there is something very, very important that I want to talk about, but you have to know it before you have to know the scale before you know what I want to talk about. Anybody? Everybody here has known how to calculate the scale, how to know the scale, both vertical and horizontal.
Yes.
Can you say yes? Can you say yes in the chat? So that I know everybody has understood what they are supposed to do. Kila mtu andike hapo kwa chat if you have known how to get both horizontal and vertical scale. Okay. That means that everybody has understood. Thank you very much. Now we go to the second part. Remember, I said before you answer the graph, a question on a graph, you must know at least 3 things. Number 1, know the scale. Number 2, know the value of the small box. So write that. Know the value of the small box. Once you have identified the scale, you must know 1 small box represents how many units, both vertically and horizontally. One small box represents how many units, both horizontally and vertically. So let's now pick another graph. So Melanie, That one we have already known the scale. Tell me the scale for that, Melanie.
Yes.
The scale for that. Tell me the scale for that number 12. Scale only.
Cha,
1 centimeter represent what?
is that kilometer? Cha,
These ones are distance in kilometer, yes.
1 centimeter represents 50 kilometers.
50 kilometer on vertical axis, then horizontal.
And 1 centimeter represents 1 hour.
Horizontal.
1 centimeter represents
That is
1
the
hour.
scale. So once you have known the scale, please, this is the most important. That's okay. I've understood that. So that's the most important thing. Once you have known that, now I'm saying there's number 2 to get the value of the small box. So how do I get the value of the small box? Count all these small box inside this. So can you count how many small box are inside the scale? How many small box are inside the scale? How many small box are inside the scale? Melanie? How many small boxes are inside the scale? Are you seeing them?
Not that clear.
Melanie? How
They are
many?
not clear.
How many small? It is not that clear.
Yes.
I've
Just
increased it.
Just stop.
Anyway, I've stopped. How many small boxes are inside the scale?
Oh.
On the vertical.
About 10.
Are they 10?
Yes.
Yeah? They are
Yes.
correct. So, now get this. Get this. This is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, please. And I want you to understand it, because once you've understood it, you just go back to class and do work. Now, we have already gotten that the scale is 1 centimeter represent 50. So inside those 50 kilometers, there are 10 small boxes. So the value of small box, I get it by dividing. So I will get 50 divided by 10, you get what?
5.
5. So one small box represent how many?
5 kilometers.
One small box represent how many? 5. So 5 kilometers. So even if I ask you, I want to ask a question, and I want somebody to answer it, the same diagram. How many kilometers was he at 8 a.m. for the Nani? Are they names? This person who is living, the one that is straight, at 8 a.m. How far was he at 8 a.m.? Somebody to get for me. How far was he at 8 a.m.?
80 kilometers.
I want everybody.
Wait.
80 kilometers. No, the one which is straight. Okay, the one who is straight. This line which is straight, not the one that has arrested.
Yeah.
How many?
So 110 kilometers.
110 kilometers. What is that?
Oh, 110, yeah.
110. Kila mtu amepata 110. So why do we get 110? Because we have already gotten that one small box is 5. So tunakuja hapa kwa 100, then it moves 2. So those 2 units you multiply by 5, you get 10. So that is 110. Thank you. What about at 7 a.m.? This person who is resting at 7 a.m. The person who is resting at 7 a.m. The person who is resting. 60 kilometers. 60 kilometers. Very, very good, girls and boys. Now, have you understood the reason why you need to get the value of the small box?
Yes.
Once you've gotten it, now you'll be able to, if you count the number of boxes, you multiply by that value so that you know how many are they. Let's go now to the horizontal. To the horizontal. Let's go to the horizontal. So in the horizontal, somebody to tell us the value of a small box in the horizontal. The value of a small box in the horizontal. Horizontal axis. Eh? Who is that one talking? Oh, wow, you are saying one small box represents? Eh?
Huh?
Continue.
10 box.
Aya. Oh, wow. Your microphone is not clear. Tarakimanzi? Eh?
Cha?
Yes.
Cha, one small box represents 6 kilometers.
6
6
kilometers.
minutes, sorry.
6 minutes. Why is 1 centimeter? Clap for yourself. Why is 1 centimeter is equivalent to 6 minutes? It's because from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. we have 60 minutes. So we talk about minutes now. On horizontal, we talk about minutes. So we have 60 minutes for 1 hour. How many boxes? 10 boxes. Gives me how many? 6 minutes. So if I ask you a question, 6 minutes. If I ask you a question now, that at what time did he cover 60 kilometers? No, not 60. At what time did he cover 45 kilometers? At what time? The person who is resting. You know, we are not doing this question, we're just understanding it. The person who is resting, at what time did cover 45 kilometers? 45, the person who is resting, at what time did covered 45 kilometers? At what time did cover
7 times.
The person who is resting 45 kilometers. 45, eh? Eh? 45 kilometers. How do we do it? First of Nini umeshindwa? Check what we are doing. Check what we are doing because of time. Check what we are doing. The first thing we are doing is we have to get 45. 45 is 5 times 9. So you count 9 small boxes. So 9 is here somewhere there. Is that correct? Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes.
You count 9. So have you counted 9? So you know where 9 is. So 9 is there. That will give you 45. Then you come down here with that 9. You will get how many small boxes on the ground? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are they 7? Are they 7?
Yes.
Are they 7 on the horizontal? Yeah, 7. So 7 times 6 is 7 times 6 is
42.
42.
42.
So at what time was it 45 kilometers away? It will be 642.
642.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. So that's how we get the value, how the value of the small box will help us, and how we are going to use it in the calculation. Those are the only 2 main things. Now, the remaining things now are very, very easy. You can now be asked average speed. Average speed. So now these are the questions that now can now be asked. Average speed for the whole journey, right? That one is total distance covered over total time taken. Total D over total time taken. That is the formula for getting average speed. The average speed, total distance covered over total time taken. The next thing that they will say, apart from those 3 things, they can ask you consecutive. They can ask you consecutive. So if they ask you consecutive, please add. If I'm been asked consecutive, and I said we are using the choices for consecutive. So if you are asked consecutive numbers, that one we are saying just add all of them. Add all of them. That's the first question. Second question is consecutive numbers. Which one was the highest? Which one was the lowest? So you add. Then you add all the choices. Add choice A, choice B, choice C, choice D. Remember, we said we are using the choices to do that. If you are asked which one are the consecutive days, like this question, in which pair of consecutive days was the total consumption the highest? So you add Monday and Tuesday right here, right? Tuesday and Wednesday right here, Wednesday and Thursday right here, Thursday and Friday right there. Then now you check which one is the highest, and they can also ask which one is the lowest. So then you pick also the lowest. Understood? Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes.
Highest. Highest. So in the graph, you can just ask you a simple question. The next question you can be asked, on which day was the highest? Just look for the bar graph, the one which is the highest. Are we okay there? If you are asked which day was the selling of milk the highest, so you just pick the one which is the highest. Understood? Understood?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
If you are asked the lowest,
Yes.
do the same. Just look at the bar graph. Which one is the lowest? Can you pick one graph here? Which one was which day was the highest? Or which class has the highest number of pupils? This diagram
5.
here. Which class has the highest number of
Class
pupils? Class
5.
5. Yeah. Which class has the lowest number of pupils?
3.
3.
3 and 6.
Which class has the lowest number of pupils?
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
3.
The lowest 3 and 6. Which classes have the same number of pupils?
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
Okay, somebody, when you are not answering question, mute. Okay, so that's how you are answering question. If you are asked the highest, the lowest, please pick them from the graph. Lastly, if you are asked the mean, you can be asked the mean. So if you are asked the mean of the days, add all, divide by number of days. Add all, divide by the items. Number of items. Add all, divide by the number of items. If you are asked what was the mean mark, you add all of them from the graph, then divide by the number of items given. Understood? Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Lastly, what about if you are asked the total? Total again, add all. If you ask the total of whatever they sold that week, add them. So the graphs are very, very easy. So the main thing here is to get the value of the small box. Once you've gotten the value of the small box, then now you just add. Do what? Those are the questions that you're going to get in the graph. Any question? Anybody with a question before we go back to class? Now it is 55 past. This lesson was supposed to end at 50. Any question before you go and do bar graph today? Tomorrow we are not meeting the first time. Tomorrow we'll meet after you have done the work. So tomorrow you are doing line graph and travel graph. So if you don't know anything on them, ask right now, because we will meet tomorrow after you have done the work. Somebody was asking a question. So if there is no any other question, so you go to classroom, you are gonna do bar graph. Please make sure you do them nicely. There are 10 questions of 30 minutes each. No, not 30 minutes each, but you have 30 minutes to do the 10 questions. And please submit your work. Therefore, when we meet in the afternoon again, we'll go through them and see what are the areas where you have problems in, and then we rectify them. So see you in the afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Somebody's asking a question?